At the networks tonight, chaos is...
The networks right now, they're talking about him. Look at it, this is the latest, look at him. Here he goes again. Well, you know what here he goes again means? He's doing what he said he was gonna do. He promised you he was gonna do these things, and he walked into office week one, and that's exactly what he's doing. And he's saying, y'all do something about it. And when you try to do something about it, he's gonna say, look at them now. Now they're concerned about these issues. Were they talking about that during the campaign?
Just on the air, it's inside the studio. The lights were hot, the cameras rolled. And what began as another calm political debate between Bill Maher and Stephen A. Smith turned into something no one saw coming. Within seconds, the energy shifted. The audience went silent, producers froze, and even Bill Maher, for never losing control, looked genuine with one sentence. Stephen leaned forward, voice low but sharp, saying the words that made everyone in the room hold their breath. You know why people don't trust this party anymore? Because they stopped listening. That line hit like a thunderclap. Maher blinked, half smiling, unsure whether to argue or agree. The tension was so thick you could hear the hum of the studio lights as rumors swirl across social media. Fans are split, some calling Stephen a hero for telling the truth, others accusing him of turning on his own. Sources inside the network say tempers flared backstage, producers scrambling to cut to commercial while staffers whispered, "Did that really just happen live?" What was supposed to be another late-night discussion about policy became a full-blown televised shockwave that's still echoing online tonight. The tension in the studio was electric. What had begun as a polite exchange between two veteran commentators quickly spiraled into something that felt more like a public reckoning than a debate. Stephen leaned back in his chair, his expression calm but cutting, and said, "You know, Bill, I've been loyal for years. I've defended the same people, the same policies, even when it didn't make sense anymore. But lately, it's like we're living in two different Americas, the one people talk about on TV, and the one people actually live in." The crowd shifted uncomfortably. You could sense the collective realization that this wasn't rehearsed. This was raw. Bill Maher tried to keep the conversation light, but his smile faltered when he noticed the producer in his earpiece whispering something frantic. The control room knew what was happening. They had a clip that was about to go viral before the show even ended. "Stephen," Bill began, choosing his words carefully, "we're on the same side here. I just think the party's struggling with messaging." Stephen laughed, a short, humorless sound. "Messaging, Bill. People can't afford groceries. They're not waiting for a better slogan. They want leaders who know what struggle looks like." For a moment, Bill sat there speechless. This wasn't the kind of banter he could diffuse with a sarcastic joke. This was personal, and it was live. The audience, used to cheering or clapping on cue, stayed frozen. One woman in the front row covered her mouth. Another whispered, "Is this real?" Backstage, staffers argued about whether to cut to commercial, but the director shook his head. "Keep rolling," he said quietly. "This is history." Rumors began spreading online within minutes. Clips surfaced with headlines like "Stephen A. destroys Democrats on live TV" and "Bill Maher blindsided on his own show." Twitter threads multiplied as fans debated whether Stephen had crossed a line or finally said what millions had been thinking. Some praised him for his honesty, others accused him of betrayal. But inside the studio, none of that mattered. What mattered was that for the first time, someone from inside the circle was saying it out loud, that the party of compassion had somehow lost touch with its own people. Bill leaned forward, trying to regain control. "So what are you saying?" he asked, his voice low, cautious, "that everything we've stood for doesn't matter anymore?" Stephen shook his head. "No, I'm saying it used to mean something. Now it's all talk. We used to be the voice for workers, for small towns, for people struggling to get by. Now we sound like we're auditioning for approval from Twitter." A murmur swept through the crowd. Some clapped, others booed softly. The divide wasn't just political, it was emotional. An insider later claimed that after the cameras cut, Maher slammed his cue cards down, muttering, "This wasn't supposed to happen tonight." Stephen, however, remained composed. He stood, shook Bill's hand, and said quietly, "Sometimes the truth has bad timing." That one line became the quote of the night, repeated on every talk show and reposted across social media. Outside the studio, protesters gathered within hours, not against Stephen or Bill, but against the sense of betrayal both men had touched on. "They forgot us," one woman shouted into a microphone during a live interview. "We voted for change, and we got excuses." Others carried signs with phrases like, "We're done waiting and listen to the people." Even fans who disagreed with Stephen's delivery admitted that something about his words felt like a spark, the kind that ignites when frustration finally finds a voice. Meanwhile, sources close to the show described what happened next as a meltdown behind the scenes. Network executives were reportedly furious, fearing backlash from both political camps. One anonymous staffer told a gossip outlet, "Phones were ringing off the hook. Sponsors wanted to know if this was scripted. It wasn't. Stephen went rogue." Another added Bill looked genuinely shaken. He kept saying, I thought we were going to talk about the midterms, not burn the party to the ground. But the damage or the revelation, depending on who you asked, was done. The clip racked up millions of views overnight, with hashtags like #StephenVesBill and #TruthBomb live trending for days. Fans dissected every word, live-breed background whispers, and argued over whether Maher's silence was agreement or disbelief. Podcasts replayed the moment frame by frame, calling it the night the narrative cracked. In the following days, Stephen was both celebrated and vilified. Former colleagues called him brave, others called him reckless. One source claimed that a well-known political figure reached out privately, saying, "You said what we can't." Still, not everyone was impressed. One network host sneered, "He's not a rebel, he's chasing clicks." But even that cynicism couldn't drown out the shift happening among viewers. They weren't just entertained, they felt something. Anger, relief, confusion. It didn't matter. For the first time in years, a political debate had people feeling again. Behind closed doors, Maher reportedly demanded a meeting with the show's producers. Insiders claim voices were raised, with one producer shouting, "You can't control him anymore, Bill." To which Maher allegedly replied, "I don't need to control him, I need to understand what just happened." Later, in a quieter moment, Maher told a friend over dinner, "Maybe he's right, maybe we have stopped listening." And that's where the real tension began, not just on television, but across the cultural landscape. Everyone from late-night hosts to news anchors weighed in, spinning the moment to fit their side's story. Yet through all the noise, one undeniable truth remained. People were talking again. Something had broken and no one knew how to put it back together by the next morning. Chaos had spilled far beyond the studio walls. The clip had gone viral in every sense of the word. It wasn't just trending, it had overtaken the internet. Every platform, from TikTok to X, was buzzing with one burning question. Did Stephen A. really just call out his own party on national television? Hashtags multiplied by the hour. News anchors stumbled over their scripts trying to explain what had happened, and political commentators scrambled to pick sides. Some claimed it was staged to boost ratings. Others swore it was an unfiltered outburst from a man who'd finally had enough. Inside the network, panic was real. Producers were summoned to an emergency meeting before dawn. One insider said it felt like a crime scene. Everyone was whispering. Nobody knew whether to spin it or bury it. Someone had leaked a behind-the-scenes clip showing Maher standing alone after the cameras cut, rubbing his temples while staff rushed around him. That single image, Bill Maher, the unflappable veteran of live television, looking genuinely lost, became the symbol of the storm. By noon, Stephen had gone silent. His phone was reportedly off, and his representatives offered no comment. But that silence only added fuel to the fire. Fans flooded his social media, posting thousands of comments ranging from "You spoke for us" to "You just ended your career." One tweet, which gained millions of likes, read, "He didn't betray anyone. He reminded them what honesty sounds like." Others weren't so kind. "He wants attention," wrote one critic. "If he cared about change, he wouldn't humiliate people on live TV." Then came the leaked recording. A few hours later, an anonymous source sent an audio clip to an online blog. The grainy recording, supposedly taken backstage right after the segment ended, captured what sounded like Stephen saying, "You can't fix a system that doesn't think it's broken," followed by another voice believed to be Maher replying, "You just blew up the house we built." No one confirmed its authenticity, but it didn't matter. The internet had already decided it was real. Overnight, what began as a political argument turned into full-blown drama. Other TV personalities started chiming in. One late-night comedian joked, "When Bill Maher goes quiet, you know something biblical just happened." Another talk show host said, "This is bigger than a debate, it's a mutiny." News outlets ran headlines like "Network in Crisis After Live Meltdown" and "Democrat Commentators Clash on Air and Shocking Confrontation." Even political strategists were dragged into the frenzy, debating whether Stephen's rant had exposed a fatal weakness in the party's communication strategy. But the real twist came from an unexpected place. A former network employee, claiming to have worked closely with both men, went on a podcast and dropped a bombshell. "They've been arguing behind the scenes for months," she said. "Stephen's been frustrated with how topics were chosen. He wanted to talk about inflation, jobs, real people's struggles, but producers kept pushing celebrity stories and social issues. That night, he just snapped." The revelation only made the saga more explosive. By evening, paparazzi were camped outside both of their homes. Photos emerged of Bill leaving his Los Angeles property, face hidden under a baseball cap, looking visibly agitated. Stephen, on the other hand, was spotted entering a private gym with his hood up, ignoring questions from reporters. One shouted, "Do you regret what you said?" But Stephen didn't respond. He just kept walking. Meanwhile, the fan base had split into factions. One group called themselves Team Stephen and started trending hashtags like #SayItLikeItIs and #TruthOverParty. Another camp, defending Maher, argued that you don't air family business in public. political influencers began live streaming heated discussions dissecting every facial expression, every pause, every raised eyebrow from that night. In one viral clip, a body language expert claimed Ma wasn't angry, he was scared. He realized in real time that his audience had changed. The network finally broke its silence that night with a brief statement. Our hosts are known for passionate debate. We stand by free discussion and respect diverse opinions. But insiders revealed that behind closed doors, executives were livid. One senior producer reportedly slammed a desk during a meeting, shouting, "We lost control of our own show." Another quietly admitted, maybe this is what people actually wanted. Something real, not rehearsed. Then, another twist. A journalist uncovered an internal memo suggesting that the network had been planning to shake up its political programming lineup, potentially replacing longtime voices with younger, social media-savvy hosts. The timing of the leak was suspicious. Some believed it was deliberate, a way to frame the confrontation as a ratings stunt. Others insisted it was damage control. Either way, it reignited speculation that Maher and Steven's feud wasn't just political, it was personal. A former friend of Maher's told a gossip outlet, "Bill's always been territorial. When Steven joined the rotation, it felt like the audience shifted. Younger viewers connected with him more. Bill didn't like that." Another source close to Steven countered. He respected Bill, but he was tired of walking on eggshells. That night, he didn't just speak to Bill, he spoke to everyone who feels ignored. As the night wore on, commentators debated whether this was the beginning of a bigger fracture in political media itself. One columnist wrote, "Two voices that used to echo are now colliding, and people are picking sides. It's no longer just about politics, it's about who really represents the people watching at home." The divide was spreading fast, and everyone sensed that the story wasn't anywhere near finished by the third day. The controversy had mutated into something much larger than anyone expected. What began as a tense exchange between two TV hosts had now become a nationwide talking point. News panels, podcasts, and radio shows were dissecting every frame of that night's footage. One analyst said it wasn't just about politics anymore, it was about honesty, authenticity, and the raw emotion that the public had been starved of for years. And somewhere in the chaos, both Bill and Steven had become symbols of opposing truths. Steven finally broke his silence that morning through a short video posted on his social media. He didn't apologize, but his tone was calm, reflective, and personal. "Look," he said softly, staring straight into the camera, "I didn't plan to say what I said that night, but sometimes you see a mirror held up to a world that's pretending everything's fine, and you just can't stay quiet anymore." His words spread like wildfire. Fans flooded the comments, praising his courage. But not everyone bought the sincerity. One political strategist tweeted, "This isn't Kherjit's career strategy. The timing is too perfect." Bill, on the other hand, remained silent. Insiders claimed he had cancelled all upcoming appearances, including a highly anticipated interview with another major network. A friend of his told one outlet, "Bill's been doing this for decades. He's weathered controversy before, but this one hit differently. He's not angry, he's hurt. He thought he and Steven had mutual respect, and now it feels like that trust is gone." Another rumor suggested that producers were urging Bill to go public to control the narrative. Before it got worse, then came the unexpected twist. Leaked emails between network executives surfaced online, showing that they had actually considered using the tension between the two hosts to boost viewership weeks before the incident. One email read, "Conflict sells. Let's not stop it, let's guide it." That revelation sent shockwaves across the industry. If true, it meant the emotional explosion everyone had watched might not have been entirely spontaneous after Allure at least. The network saw it coming and chose not to stop it. Fans felt betrayed. The same people who had cheered Steven's outburst as real now questioned whether they'd been manipulated for ratings. One viral comment summed up the mood perfectly. "We thought we were watching truth. Turns out we were watching strategy." In response, the network issued another vague statement insisting that no one could have predicted the intensity of the moment. But by then, it was too late. The damage to its credibility was done. The online discourse turned messy. Fan-made conspiracy threads accused both hosts of playing roles in a manufactured meltdown. Others defended Steven, saying the raw emotion couldn't have been scripted. Meanwhile, anonymous insiders kept leaking snippets of behind-the-scenes drama. One claimed that Bill had been furious about the leak and confronted a senior producer, shouting, "You sold us out." Another insider countered, saying, "He's deflecting." The truth is, both of them have been feuding for months. This was just the explosion everyone saw. As the noise grew louder, both men retreated from the public eye, but behind the scenes, tensions escalated. Reports emerged that Steven's contract negotiations were suddenly on hold, while Bill's future with the network was being reassessed. Executives were split. Some believed firing either would make things worse. Others argued the network had no choice. Meanwhile, fans took sides more fiercely than ever. Debates erupted in comment sections like family feuds, with people accusing each other of being blind loyalists or agenda pushers. Then, out of nowhere, A private voicemail leaked to a journalist, allegedly from Stephen to Bill. It painted a very different picture of their relationship. "I never meant to embarrass you," the voice said quietly. "But we can't keep pretending. People deserve more than scripted arguments." Though neither confirmed it was real, it humanized the entire saga. For the first time, audiences began to see that beneath all the chaos, two people had simply reached their breaking point, torn between truth, friendship, and the weight of public expectation. In Hollywood, friends of both hosts started whispering about reconciliation. One insider told a popular entertainment site, "There's talk of them meeting privately. They used to respect each other too much to let it end like this." But as the speculation grew, another rumor surfaced that Stephen had been approached by a rival network offering him his own primetime slot. That news reignited the drama all over again. Some said it proved his outburst was never about truth, it was about leverage. Others insisted the offer came because he told the truth. And while all this unfolded, ratings for the network soared. Every night, viewers tuned in hoping for more fallout, more leaked clips, more confrontation. It had become less about politics and more about spectacle. Fans online joked that they were watching the most entertaining political soap opera ever made. Some even created memes comparing Bill and Stephen to feuding reality show stars. But under all that noise, there was a deeper, quieter question forming, one that even the loudest voices couldn't drown out. Had everyone become so used to outrage that they'd forgotten what honest conversation even looked like? One columnist put it bluntly: "The moment two men argued about real issues, we didn't listen, we turned it into entertainment." And maybe that was the real tragedy beneath the spectacle. A week later, the storm still hadn't passed. If anything, it had grown into something far stranger, part cultural flashpoint, part soap opera, part morality play. Every major outlet was running its own version of what happened that night. One claimed Bill and Stephen had privately reconciled, another swore the feud was worse than ever. Meanwhile, fans clung to every new piece of gossip like clues in a mystery no one could solve. Even talk show hosts who'd never covered politics before were weighing in, calling the moment the most That Friday, both men finally reappeared, but not together. Bill opened his show with an uncharacteristically somber tone. There was no laughter, no sarcasm, no witty intro, just him sitting under the studio lights, looking weary. "It's been a rough week," he said slowly. "A lot has been said, some true, some not. I've spent my whole career defending free speech, even when it gets messy. That's not changing. But I also believe in respect, and somewhere along the way, that got lost." The audience didn't know whether to clap or stay quiet. He paused, looked directly into the camera and added, "We can fight for what's right without tearing each other apart." It was the closest thing to a truce anyone expected. But within hours, Stephen posted his own video response online, filmed at home, in a hoodie, no makeup, no lights. "I heard what Bill said," he began, his tone calm but firm, "and I respect it. But respect doesn't mean silence. If I made people uncomfortable, good, that means they were listening. I love this country, and I love the people who keep it going. I'm not here to tear anyone down. I'm here to wake them up." His words hit like a fresh spark. Comments flooded in, some emotional, others skeptical. "They're both right," one viewer wrote. "They just forgot they're on the same side." Behind the scenes though, insiders whispered that the network wasn't satisfied with apologies. Executives were panicking about advertisers threatening to pull out. Meetings dragged late into the night. One staffer claimed a senior producer slammed a folder on the table and shouted, "We built our brand on control, and now we've lost it to emotion." Another insider described how the board was split between cutting ties and capitalizing on the chaos. Someone reportedly proposed a live reunion episode, a public reconciliation to heal the audience and close the arc. But not everyone believed in a happy ending. Whispers surfaced that both hosts were exploring independent ventures. One journalist leaked that Stephen had met with digital streaming executives to discuss launching his own talk platform, something unfiltered, direct to viewers where no topics off limits. At the same time, rumors spread that Bill had quietly begun negotiating a new production deal with a rival channel to develop a show focused on civil discourse in a divided age. Their paths, once parallel, now seemed to be splitting in real time as the story continued to evolve. Public perception shifted again. For some, it became a cautionary tale about fame and truth. For others, it was proof that the audience was starving for authenticity. One viral video essay called it "The Night TV Woke Up," arguing that even if the confrontation was chaotic, it forced people to confront what political discussion had become a performance, more theater than truth. By the end of that second week, something unexpected happened. A leaked photo showed Bill and Stephen sitting together at a small restaurant in Santa Monica. No cameras, no microphones, just two men talking over coffee. Someone who saw them said they looked tired but peaceful, like they were figuring it out. The picture went viral within minutes. Fans were stunned, relieved, confused. Maybe it was never about winning. One comment read, "Maybe it was about remembering how to talk." That single image seemed to quiet the noise. The hashtag stopped trending, the conspiracy threads slowed down, and for the first time since the explosion, the conversation turned introspective. Journalists began asking bigger questions about media, honesty, and why it takes public conflict to make people pay attention. One column captured the moment perfectly. Two men broke the internet by doing something we forgot how to do. Honestly, as weeks passed, the heat faded, but the echo of that night never fully disappeared. Both men moved on to new projects, separately but respectfully. The network rebranded its lineup, promising real conversations, not rehearsed scripts. Fans still debated who was right, who went too far, and whether the whole thing was genuine or staged. But deep down, everyone seemed to know that something had changed, not just for TV, but for how people looked at honesty itself. And somewhere, late at night, when reruns of that fateful episode played online, viewers still paused at the same moment when Stephen leaned forward, eyes blazing, and said, "You stopped listening." It had become more than a line. It was a reflection, a reminder, and for millions watching, it was the first time in a long time that politics, entertainment, and raw humanity collided on live television in a way that no script could ever capture. And as the screen fades to black, one thing's for sure, that night wasn't just another political debate. It was a mirror, a moment that made millions stop scrolling, stop shouting, and actually listen. Fans are still divided, still debating who was right, but everyone agrees on one thing: it was real, it was raw, and it reminded people that sometimes the most shocking truth doesn't come from politicians, but from the voices that dare to say what everyone else is thinking. So what do you think really happened that night? Was it a moment of honesty, or a calculated storm for ratings? Was Stephen right to speak up, or did he go too far? We want to hear what you believe. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. No filters, no holding back. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more dramatic moments, behind the scenes, revelations, and the stories the networks don't want you to hear. And don't forget to turn on notifications, because next week's episode might just be even wilder than this one. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay questioning, and remember, in a world full of noise, sometimes the loudest thing you can do is tell the truth. Loudest thing